Namaste, welcome to Buddha's teaching. Today's topic is about anxiety or fear or worry. It's all in the same family, it's in the same group. So, what is it? Fear, anxiety, or worry, we all have it. And worry is one of the unwholesome mind faculties that that all human beings have. Okay, and if you look at the chart that I have gone over before in one of the earlier episode, worry is one of the ingredients, one of the elements in the unwholesome mind faculty group. So fear or anxiety or shy, okay, they all have connection, they all have their roots, and the root is based on worry, right? So worry is at the base of all these emotion, of all these feelings. When you're anxious about something, you have anxiety. When you are shy, okay, or when you are nervous when you meeting someone, or when you are doing some kind of, let's say, presentation, you're going on a stage, and you have fear, you have sweaty palm, okay, and you're kind of shaking, and things like that. All of that, all of that emotion that we have is based on the worry mind faculty. Okay, so let's look into that. What is it that is causing us to have this emotion? All right, so fear or anxiety is have two kinds. Okay, one is we have worry or we have anxiety about our physical well-being. Okay, so let's say uh, we uh, we have some kind of health issue, right? So because of we having health issue, whether it's something that we just discovered or something that has been going on with us for a while, so there's fear in our mind, okay, about what is going to happen to me, right? Is fear. So that fear is based on worry. So now we are worried, okay, about our health, about the well-being of our body, okay, because we are afraid, of course, that if we have some kind of sickness, some kind of disease going on inside the body or whatnot, and it's only natural for us human being that the we fear that the sickness can lead to something serious, and the ultimate fear that we all have, of course, is death, right? So that fear is based on the condition of our physical body. So that is one kind of fear. Okay, so like for example, for people who has been sick for a long time, and I know there are quite a few people who were sick for a long time, and they get and because of that, the mental habit uh, is sort of keeping itself in the loop of being sick. Okay, and that can have negative effects on the body itself, whether the body is when the body try to recover from the sickness, um, the body needs all the help, right, from from the way we think, but worry or fear is a negative emotion, okay. And so when a sick person keeps thinking, keep worrying about the condition of the body, so the sick person, the thinking is not helping. It's actually hurting the body itself, because as we all know, the negative thinking create negative energy, okay. And it's create chem uh, the chemistry that is the not good for the body. It creates stress, right? It creates pressure that is hard for the body to recover, and that kind of fear sort of like defeat its own purpose, okay. Because of the of fear, of that kind of fear, when the body try to recover, but the thinking mind of the sick person keep uh, holding the body down, because remember, the body is an independent mechanism, okay. The body will react to will to the emotion that the brain or our mind creates. Also, if we have positive thinking and we have positive way of looking at things, and the body will react accordingly, according to whatever the chemistry that the mind is producing. So if we keep producing negative energy, then the body is going to have difficult time recovering from the sickness and whatnot. But it's unfortunate that a lot of people get caught up in that kind of loop that can make a person become very ill, become very sick for a long time. Is because of the way that they put their physical system into a negative condition, okay. And I have seen many people who have put themselves into serious situation because of the fearful thinking of what could happen, and because of that, okay, they become frightened, so they become scared, um, they have all kinds of anxiety, cannot sleep and all that, right. And because of this kind of fear, because of this worry about being sick, and instead of helping themselves, they instead putting pressure, more pressure, more stress onto the body itself, okay. It's not helping, and instead it's the mind is hurting the body, which is a terrible cycle that the person or the patient or the sick person can get himself or herself into without knowing, right? Because after all, we as human beings, we are a habitual creature, okay. Once the mind get into a certain habit, it keeps doing it without without knowing it, without understanding it, okay. Unless a person can become aware that the mind has this uh, condition of the habitual condition of repeating itself, and then can take itself out of that repetitiveness, then the mind can get stuck in the loop that can make things worse, right? Not making any things better, and it's not helping. So that is one kind of fear. Okay, the fear of of the the physical being, right? Of this of the wellness of the body. Now the other fear, the second kind of fear, is the mental fear. I mean, the first one is also produced by the mental, but it has to do with the physical, right? It has to do with our body. Okay. Now the other fear is the fear that is 100% produced or generated by our own ego. Okay. So let's say what kind, what kind of fear is that? It's the fear of, let's say, of losing face, let's say. All right. The fear of feeling inferior to others. Okay. The fear of losing fame or fortune. The fear of losing popularity. The fear of not fit in with the group, right? All of this is the fear that is 100% generated by the ego. Okay. So when this happen, okay, this fear associate with lying, because this fear here, it is solely is 100% based on the status of itself. All right. The fear of the status of losing the status, the fear of wanting of being looked at as inferior to others, right? This is a fear of what we call a person that have insecurity. Okay. So again, and for example, when you have fear or anxiety, you going up on stage in front of a big crowd, okay, and you have the fear. So that is a fear of insecurity, which means that let's say if we have that, that means we are not sure, we are not secure of who we are, or what is it that we are going to talk about. Okay. What is it that we are going to present to the audience, and things like that, right? Be, because the mind, or the ego mind, think that what if I screw up, right? um, what if I say things wrong? They would I would be so embarrassed, right? Let's say, uh, I would lose face, and so on and so forth. So that is the thinking of the ego. So that fear is created 100% by our own ego. All right. And the same thing as it's similar to being shy. There are people who are shy. It is because he or she afraid of being looked at, let's say. Okay. It's because they are the word that is used is that they are conscious of themselves, right? In a way, maybe they're conscious that, okay, whether I look appropriate or not, or being afraid of people criticism. Okay. And so that is also fear. So shy is a form of fear, right? It's also because, and that is also 100% from the thinking mind, which is we call ego. Okay. So the ego produce that. And for so the ego is very good with trying to protect itself. All right, so in order to keep itself inflated or make itself look different from the reality, from the truth or whatnot, what does the ego do? Okay, out of this fear, out of this fearful feeling, right? So to protect itself, the ego will inflate itself, okay, try to be something that the ego is not, okay, try to be something else. So in order to do that, the ego would lie, right? Inflating itself, meaning the ego would go a long way to say things that is not true, okay, to protect its own image. So it goes into lying and lying. But of course, as we all know, that is a vicious cycle, right? The more you lie, the more trouble you get into, and that is a fact, because you have to keep lying on top of lying, right, in order to protect yourself. And that is exactly what the ego does. The egos like to inflate itself, so in order to keep itself at that level or even more, the ego will keep inflating itself more and more and more, you know, and it will keep doing it as long as it can, okay, until one day when it finally meets the real uh, painful truth, and that bubble will burst, okay. And that is unfortunate. It's because normally most of the time that lying bubble bursts at the peak of the moment, not at the beginning, okay, because the ego that we have, okay, don't like to face the truth, okay. That is the problem. So fear of losing face, uh, fear of losing status, fear of being looked at as fear of being mocked at, you know, fear of being looked at as somebody who is of lesser value, okay. And that is what they like to say, that will bring a person, will show the person's self-esteem, whether you have a self, whether you have a low self-esteem or high self-esteem. These are all the work of the ego, okay, of the ego mind. The ego mind is very good at producing this kind of thought, okay. So now, as we seen that we have two kinds of fear, right? Right, two kinds uh, of negative emotion regarding that is based on worry. Okay, so how do we handle fear, or how do we handle anxiety? All right, the emotion, the nerve, when we are nervous in front of people and all that. How do we handle our worry? How do we handle our anxiety, our nervousness, and all that? Um, First and foremost, be true to yourself, okay? Because fear or worry and all that is based on imagination. It's based on thinking, okay? As we know, when we fear about something, all right? When we worry about something, it is the work of our mind that is thinking about something of unknown, right? and it's something that the mind think about, that this could happen in the future, that could happen in the future, right? So it's all about the thinking mind that is imagining things of what could happen, okay, of what could happen in the future. So this is the result of our imagination, believe it or not. Okay, so imagination, or I think of, that is the product of our thinking mind, has two faces, as you can see, because imagination can produce great things. Okay, if we can, we the way that we as human think, we have imagination, we can imagine of things that is possible, things that we can invent, all right, things that we can create, and all this imagination, these are good imagination. Okay, we can think of a lot of good things, but on the flip side of it, the imagination of what can be happening negatively, that can impact us negatively in the future, that is a bad imagination. And that bad imagination is fear, is worry. Okay, so how do we handle that? We come to the present moment, and we have to understand the fact, we have to acknowledge the truth. That's how we handle fear, that's how we handle anxiety. Okay, um, we look at the present moment, we look at the truth. Okay, the truth has no fear. All right, the truth is the truth, and the truth is never afraid of being discovered. And as a matter of fact, the truth will always be the truth. Okay, and it's only a matter of time. Doesn't matter how much you want to cover up, how much you want to hide the truth would eventually emerge. It just takes time. Let's say if somebody want to cover up some kind of fact, some kind of thing that happened, okay, they can try to cover it up, try to hide it or whatnot, okay, try to lie about it. You can do it, you can try, as whatever, but eventually the truth will come out. So the best way to handle fear or anxiety is, instead of covering up the truth, okay, let the truth be itself. All right, you don't cover it up, you face the truth, and you acknowledge the truth. Okay, and so let's say you have a presentation to go on the stage. Okay, you know what you're gonna, what you have. Let's say you have done your research and all that, and of course you have to know that whatever you have done, it's never gonna be perfect, it's never gonna be 100%. There's always something that you are going to miss. You have to acknowledge that. Okay, so when you go to present something on stage or whatnot, or when you talk to audience and whatnot, you present what you have discovered, let's say. Okay, so, and because of that, you are not going there trying to be a person who knows it all, right? Because as we all know, nobody knows it all. So you just go there on stage, you present what you know, right? What you have done, what the result is from the research that you have done. And when the opinion, or when there's question coming from people, and if you happen to know, then you present that knowledge. And but if you do not know, you just say I do not know. Okay, so that is something that new to me. Okay, and I will get back to you, or things like that. See, that is an honest conversation. Then when you have that kind of approach to the presentation, to whatever, there is no fear, because you are not trying to show up as somebody else, right? You go there as who you are, right? uh, with whatever that you have. Okay, you're not trying to be somebody uh, uh, who knows it all. Okay, try to say things that you don't know, because when you do that, you're gonna get yourself into trouble, because you yourself inside know that you don't know that, but you pretend. And because of that, that's what causes anxiety, right? Because of that, that causes anxiety, because you know inside that you are lying. Okay, and that causes anxiety, that causes your your sweaty palm or whatnot. But if you are being honest, true to yourself, there's nothing to worry about, right? So you feel good, you feel confidence with what you know, with what you have. So that is just one example, okay, of being shy, being of having fear. Okay, um, fear of losing face or losing status or whatnot. That's just product of the ego. So to handle it, the truth, use the truth. All right, the truth will help you, will help us, all right, to face reality as it is, and to figure out, okay, what that is need to be done, and that's all. So there's nothing that we need to cover up. There's nothing that we need to hide, right? Everything is um, you know, plain in plain sight. It's open for everyone to hear, to see. um, so another thing, the regarding the fear or the anxiety that we have for our physical body. Okay, how do we handle that? The worry or the fear of our well-being, the fear of death. All right, ultimately that is the ultimate fear that we all have, right? The fear of death. It's because of that when we are sick for a long time, and one will probably think about that. So how do we handle that kind of fear, the fear of death? um, with that, we have to dig a little deeper into the physical well-being of who of the body. Okay, um, as we have covered in also previous episode regarding the body, all right, the form, and also we have covered in earlier episode about the mind. Okay, um, the fear of death, the fear of the end of our life, right? About life going down. That is when there's fear. Of course, fear is the product of the ego thinking mind, of the imagination, the negative imagination. Okay, and that mind is not looking at the truth, right? So with that, just look into the body itself. Okay, you and I and everyone else, we all have to go through aging, as we are doing right now, and from time to time we are going through some kind of health crisis. okay, being sick and all that. And the only thing that we can do is we treat it with the help from medical professional, right? So that's what we do. There's no need to be fear, right? We do the best that we can, right? We go talk to the physician, to the people who are expert in that kind of field, right? And from that, there is no need to fear about anything, because you do everything that you can to help to get to help get the body back into healthy condition, and that's all you have to do. But there's no need for the ego thinking mind thinking or imagining about this, oh, why me, right? About, oh, I shouldn't do, and about the when there's a complaining, when there's uh, a whining in our mind, notice that that is the work of the ego mind. Okay, that is the work of a negative habit that we all have, that the mind has. Okay, the mind is very good of getting itself stuck in a repetitive emotion. So when that happens, we need to snap out of it and say that is not happening. Okay, uh, we already do everything that we can, right? And we'll let nature takes its course, and that's all. Then that is how I approach my life also. Okay, of course I'm a human being. I also have a body here, and this body also gets sick. Okay, and and believe it or not, I have been to the ER, to the emergency room, a couple times myself. Okay, but that's what we do when the issue. Okay, we bring this body to the expert and let them take care of it, right? But we keep our mind steady, we keep our mind stable. Okay, we don't need to whine, we don't need to complain, whatnot. It's not healthy for the body, it's not helping the body, right? We all, if we whine, if we complain, and and all that, it's only making things worse for ourselves, right? So that is how we handle the fear of, let's say, the fear of death, right? And again, when it comes to the word death, that is also something of a deeper learning in Buddha's teaching, right? And that has to do with more, require more understanding about what death is, because the word death that we refer to, it's because we say there is somebody born and there's somebody die, right? And that somebody that we refer to is that some is called I, right? But as we all know in Buddha's teaching, what is I, right? Who am I? That is one of the episodes that I also covered. What is I? So that has to do with non-self again, right? So when we get to that level, then one can understand that the self I, the I is pretty much the a construct of the ego, the thinking mind itself. Okay, as we all know, the actual I never exists. Okay, so in that term, there is no I that has ever been born, so there will never be an I that will ever die. Okay, but that is in the ultimate reality of things that a Buddhist, a practitioner, need to study in the Buddha's teaching. Okay, So that is a little deeper for as far as the teaching goes. So that's it. To handle fear, anxiety, shy, that kind of emotion. Understand the impermanence of your thinking mind, of your imagination, of the negative imagination that the ego mind has. Okay, facing things with the truth. The truth will cure the fear. The truth will cure the anxiety. Okay, the truth will cure your sweaty palm, your and your nervousness in facing life. Right. So that's what I have for you all today. Hopefully, this is of something beneficial to you also. Until next time, I like to pay respect to the Triple Gems. I like to pay respect to the Buddha. I like to pay respect to the Dharma. And I like to pay respect to the Sangha. Namaste.